your host, Greg Lassiter, and we have an amazing show for you today. We're going to talk about a lot of things. The Brett Kavanaugh confirmation, Hurricane Florence, and the elections and the midterms that are coming up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
As of today, the United States will cease all implementation of the non-binding Paris Accord and the draconian financial and economic burdens the agreement imposes on our country. This includes ending the implementation of the nationally determined contribution and, very importantly, the Green Climate Fund, which is costing the United States a vast fortune.
Frames, as I say, I'm the host, Greg Lassiter, here with the creator, the man, the myth, the legend, Nat Wood. What's good?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm feeling good, Nat. We got a lot going on this week, man, and it's only Tuesday. What do you think? Okay, let's start off with what we just saw. We pulled, not we, your president, Donald Trump, pulled out the Paris Accord,
right,
the Paris Agreement Accord, right?
Right, 2017.
2017.
Right.
Now, coming from this moron, and I say this respectfully, that he does
respectfully moron.
Respectfully,
right,
he's a moron.
Right. That's not what his cabinet said.
He's a genius, right?
No, his cabinet said he's a goddamn dumbbell.
Anonymously,
yeah,
right?
A fifth grader.
But, are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Right, an idiot.
But he doesn't believe in climate control.
I don't think he believes it or doesn't believe in anything per se. I think that whatever is expedient for the major corporations is what he aspires to. The only problem with that is that he's taken the world to hell even quicker than it was on its way to. I mean, he's like...
But now, you know, I look at the Republican Senate, and these Republicans, they know climate control is a real thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, climate change.
Climate change, I'm like, climate change is a real thing.
Right, right.
But yet, no one advises him to say, Trump, listen, we can't pull out of the climate, we can't pull out of that. The agreement.
Right.
You know, it's our way of doing our part in keeping this world longer than, you know.
The ironic thing is that his constituents are the ones who are getting hit the hardest by the changes in the structure of the earth.
Right.
I mean, they're getting hit the hardest with the rising tides.
Right.
And he pulled out of a lot of things. He pulled out of a lot of different aspects of the Paris Accords.
The Green Climate Fund.
The Green Climate Fund, which was very, very difficult. If you notice at the end of the clip, he was talking about how much, how it's costing so much money, yada, yada, yada.
It's $3 billion. It's $3 billion. We're the second highest.
But then I showed and the clips I showed was just mild aerial shots of what actually Florence has done.
Right.
And it's not because of the hurricane, because it went from a 5 to a 1.
Right. In a very quick amount of time.
Right. It's from the water rising.
But you know, the funny thing, you see that his constituents are that uneducated, ignorant, to see that this affects them more than it affects anybody, because they live in these low-lying areas.
That is correct. Let me explain. Let me see if I can explain carbon emissions in a way that folks can understand it. They call it greenhouse effect.
Right.
And the reason why they call it greenhouse effect is because if you know what a greenhouse is, you know it's like this glass house that they put all the plants and stuff in.
Right.
And the purpose of the glass house is to let the sunlight and the heat in and trap it in so it doesn't go back out.
Right.
Now, nature maintains balance, maintains itself through balance.
Right.
And for there's certain gases that have to be released because there's a certain amount of greenhouse effect that must come into play, otherwise the Earth would be too cold.
Right. That's exactly right.
Nature itself maintains that balance.
Right.
There's like 6 gases, three of which they concentrate on. The fourth one they had is really the most important of them all. But there's 3 of them that we have some control over. That's water, the water gas. That's carbon dioxide. That's methane.
Yep.
And there's also nitrous oxide. Now, nitrous oxide is worse than all of them because the rate of greenhouse effect is like multiplied over 300 times.
Right.
Now, you need these gases, especially methane, water gas, and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide actually comes from the plants itself to maintain the breathing. You need a certain amount of this to go up to maintain the balance so that just enough heat and sunlight comes through to maintain planet Earth.
You know what? You put it so... a 5th grader could have understood that. That was very good. That was, continue, I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, we have a precedent that
it's not smarter than a 5th grader.
It was not as smart as a 5th grader. Nature has maintained this balance. Now, what has happened is that man-made use of things like fossil fuels, coal, gasoline, all the nitrous oxides, we've been releasing so much of it that like a greenhouse, the Earth has become a giant greenhouse and it's trapping in the heat, but it can't release the heat. It's not able to release the heat that it's trapping.
Why, hence, the ice is melting faster.
That's why the ice is melting faster, and the water is rising, and everything is like.
When I say, I don't want to believe that this 45 is that ignorant not to believe in climate change. Okay, when you look at the Green Climate Fund,
Right.
every
right,
country
right.
puts in every year a certain amount of money
Correct.
to maintain, because the Climate Fund was actually put in place to help underdeveloped countries.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now the problem is that there was no checks and balances for the Green Climate Fund.
Right,
Okay, that's what
right,
the issue
right.
truly is. But technically, the Green Climate Fund is to take the wealth and redistribute it
Right.
to the poor.
Right.
So the reason Trump
Right.
pulls out of the Green Climate,
Right,
he doesn't
right.
believe in the retribution, the
Distribution.
redistribution
Right.
of wealth.
Right.
Because, as they say,
Right.
the rich wants to get richer.
Right.
You know?
Right. At any cost.
At any cost.
at all costs.
So they'd rather destroy the world.
That
to
is
keep-
correct.
to
That is
keep that.
correct.
And see,
Because the world, that's down the line. I'll be gone by the time
so they don't care.
y'all die.
Right,
So,
right, they don't care.
Right.
So, and that's why I say to Trump's constituents, you guys, Trump doesn't do anything for you. He's actually, he's doing more harm to
Right,
you
right,
than
right.
he's helping you.
Right.
You
right.
know, there's never be coal jobs again.
That is correct. That
you
is
know, 'cause
correct.
we don't use coal.
That is correct. The trapping of the heat is responsible for the ice melting. It's responsible for the sea levels rising. It's also responsible for things like hurricanes
Right.
and tornadoes getting stronger and stronger.
And they get trapped.
Right, they get trapped because of the heat.
And see, if you look at Tornado Alley,
Right,
which is Nebraska, all that
Right.
alley right there, Oklahoma, Texas, where most of its constituents are.
Right.
Guys, listen.
Right.
When the sea level, look what's happening with Florence.
Right.
You know, the floods, the sea level is rising. It's
Right.
destroying
Right.
everything in its way, in its power.
Right.
You're in his.
Right.
How is Donald Trump helping you?
And there are some expenses that you have to suck up.
Yeah.
It's true. Oil companies, coal companies, energy companies have to look at different ways to do what they're doing to cut down on
Right.
some. These cats have to get together.
Right.
But buying soap costs money.
Right.
You still gotta wash your ass.
That's true, right.
You know?
Right.
And basically, planet Earth has come to a place where its ass is so dirty that you're gonna have
You
to
need to
scrub him down. You're gonna have to scrub him down.
More than once.
You know,
yeah, you can't just get in the shower, take a shower, and scrub.
Right.
That is important.
Right.
You look at all the plastics
Right.
that are in the sea.
Oh my God!
It's crazy.
Oh
That's
my
killing.
God.
That's killing the
Right.
sea
Right.
life.
Right.
Guys, you don't understand.
Right.
Taking care of that. This is why
Right.
I'm so adamant about when people walk down the street
Right.
and they litter.
Right. Right.
You know, there's no
Right.
reason for
Right.
that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I gotta say this, and I'm gonna write. Yes, I said it. It's more the black and brown people that are littering. That's what I see. And just in, you know,
Plus the rich white people who's like responsible for the for the mass destruction of the planet itself.
Okay.
You know?
But I'm calling out. But we all have to do our part.
But that is true. But that is true. One of the things. The littering that we do is very. There's a lot of things that we do in our community that really needed to be addressed a couple of generations ago.
That's correct.
We're going to have to address these things. We're going to have to look at new ways of doing things within our community because our community is really, really catching hell, and a lot of the hell we catch is from us. So anybody who says that we never talk about the things that are going on in our community just ain't been listening, or they damn lying.
That's right. Or they don't want to hear.
They don't want to hear.
And that's the thing. It's the little. See, when you do little things, like, for instance, accomplishments. Right? I'm gonna say this: accomplishments. When you get up in the morning and make your bed, that's an accomplishment. When you stop. Instead of pick up the litter, if you clean up your own neighborhood, you'll be surprised what effect that can have on the world, man.
Yeah,
It starts at home, Nat. It's everything we say today, everything that we've always said starts within our family.
Right, right.
You know, because if you don't start at home,
And one of the things, one of the biggest things that we have to reestablish is confidence within ourselves.
Right.
We actually, and a lot of people who profess to be leaders, who are really spend more time bitching and moaning,
Right.
you know, and just cussing people out than they do of trying to think of and facilitate ways that we can move from point A to point B.
Right.
But we have to inspire confidence within a lot of our young people, and a lot of us don't have it ourselves.
right. But what do you do, Nat? Nat, explain to me, because I'm at a loss right here. When you see a parent that doesn't have the inspiration, do you know the kids are not going to get it? So what do we do? How can we inspire? See, at 30 Frames, we're all about solutions. How do we inspire people, adults our age, and you know, kids, people that have kids, you know, just overall? In our community. I'm sorry, in our community.
I have tried to make available learning avenues to whomever is amenable to like settling in and buckling down.
Right.
But when it becomes apparent that you personally are not, you know,
Right.
down with this.
Right. Makes it hard.
Well, no, because I move on.
Right.
When I was younger, I would stay too long at the fair.
Right. Right.
And it costs a lot. I had to deal with a lot of failure, which I agonize over because I don't do second place well.
No, we're
I
the same.
I really
don't.
I really don't. I toss and I turn, you know.
I got an ulcer for doing being in second.
So if I go down, I got to go down knowing that all hands are on the ship and I just lost to the better team.
Right.
I don't like going down because I'm an incompetent moron or I'm surrounded by incompetent morons.
There's no need for that.
Right.
There's no need for that.
So there's a lot of people I have had to jettison.
Mm-hmm. I love that word. That's the word of the day, jettison.
Yeah.
That's the word of the day, jettison. And go ahead, Nat, continue.
I don't concentrate so much on trying to save everyone.
Right.
But I do concentrate on providing avenues for those people who are eager to take upon the task and we have a focused goal of life, then I'm all down. If I know you all in, you know, you don't have to be perfect.
Right,
all I got to know is
show up.
no,
Just
right.
show up.
You
Show up.
there, your level of commitment is there. You know,
Right. There you go, Nat.
fine. You don't have to be Einstein. All you got to be is down.
Right.
But
And
if
believe.
believe.
That's
you
right.
know. But if you're not down, there comes a time when I just like, well, cool, you do what you're doing, and no hard feelings.
And you know what, guys?
I'm gonna do this.
This used to be a call-in show, and it's not because we cover a lot of topics.
Right.
But this midterm election that's coming up, it's a big deal. So what Nat doesn't know it yet, but what Nat and I are going to do, I'm announcing it right now. In the next week or so, I own a radio station, GRadioNYC.com. Nat and I are going to be on, and we want to entertain. So it's a call-in show.
Right.
We're going to entertain some of the issues that you guys have.
Right.
It's a 3-hour show. I'll make it 3 hours.
Right.
But I want everybody to show up, like Nat said.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a rocket science, but have some sense.
Yeah.
Because we don't have time for nonsense. Yeah. If you don't know what to do in your community, we welcome you guys to call in and we can help you and show you what to do.
If you disagree, that's fine. I'm looking for a level of commitment.
That's it.
I'm not looking for like a yes man or anybody
Right.
to just like blindly follow.
Right.
Because one of the things of being confident. There's also a risk of being so overconfident that you end up too smart by half.
Right, right, and not getting anything accomplished.
That is correct. That is correct. So I do reach out to other people. For one reason, I don't like to become so bored and stayed with that in my own
Right.
sphere that I become predictable. One of the things we try to do is
one thing about Nat Wood. Every segment, every week, every B-roll that you see that come up, everything is original Nat Wood. The music, programming. Trust me, to do a 58-minute show takes us 3 days.
Yeah, that's a movie. That's a movie.
Right.
You know.
Because, you don't guys
An
don't sit
hour
down.
is a movie.
Right. You don't sit down and see him editing. Moreover, compose his own music.
Right,
That is
right,
very hard.
right,
But
right.
we're committed to showing you guys, like Nat said, you don't have to agree.
Right.
But you have to have some level of commitment.
Right.
And since we're taking it, we got the media covered.
Right.
We got that. So if you come to us, we got social media, we got radio, we got TV. Us, Nat Wood and I, bringing all avenues of communication to the public, to the world. So it's up to you to get a hold of us. And what we'll do is on our social media, because you guys, we got a lot of people on our social media, and we'll tell you when the show is. It's going to be at 7 o'clock at night, whenever Nat decides, because Nat's a traveling man too. And we'll do it for 3 hours, once a week or whatever until these midterm elections are coming, because it's important.
Yeah,
This is very important.
Yeah, we got a few elections. We got midterm elections, which is I want to devote a lot of time to more global issues. If you look at 30 frames,
Yes.
right before it hits, you see the world explode.
The world explodes, right. Right.
So I want to get into like a lot of global issues.
Right.
You talked about doing the music and the editing and the video and the photography and whatnot. But it also requires a lot of research because we deal with a lot of different subjects.
Ooh.
And the research is grueling.
Research is grueling.
Yeah.
Research. This is research. And Nat will call me and like, okay, we're gonna. This is so. Nat said, Nat will call me. He's like, what are you gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about certain subjects.
Right.
And we have to do the.
Right.
I don't have an assistant.
Right.
I don't have an assistant pulling off research. Nat and I are actually doing research, and we don't talk about it until we sit down.
And a lot of times, we don't know because the world is happening so fast that you actually don't know what the subject matter is going to be
until
like
we sit down. Or even we sit it down. How many? 90% of the time, Nat and I are so up on what's going on in the world that we don't even say anything. We come in, sit down, and we're just like, okay, we're gonna talk about this, this, and this. And that's the way I tell people. You guys, listen. If you're not part of the problem, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Guys, I don't care how you get your news. You have to be abreast to what is going on, not only in your community, in the world. It is important because what happens in the world, especially in lieu of 45, Trump, we have to stay very much not only on top, but 3 steps ahead.
We talked about Florence. We talked about the billions and billions of dollars that climate change is costing in terms of hurricanes and
tornadoes
and rising water. I mean, there's a tornado that just beat the hell out of China and the Philippines.
That's right.
And you hear President Trump talking a lot about China. China is doing everything it can to become the #1 player in the world of finance and economics.
They control everything.
But let's be perfectly clear. China is not the United States of America. China does not have the fossil fuels. It does not have the beautiful stolen land.
No, right. And it's somewhat we're democracy.
Right.
You know, there's no democracy in China.
Right. China is literally digging itself out of a desert with a buttload full of people.
Right.
The best way it can. So when we try to compare China with the United States, it's not a fair comparison.
Right. No. Actually, China has a slight edge.
Well, the edge that China has is the edge that everyone has against the United States. The United States is trying to maintain global hegemony.
Right. That's
so
exactly
it's trying to control every aspect of every country, everywhere, all the time. It literally wants to be the empire that controls every aspect of the entire world.
But while doing that, the United States is falling apart. Look at our own infrastructure.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. I mean, and I was supposed to mention this before. The newly elected president of Zimbabwe is going to be at the UN on the 26th.
Right.
They're having a demonstration in Harlem right before then on the 23rd.
23rd, right. It's Saturday. So Saturday.
This coming Saturday. Right. It kicks off at 12 o'clock. Right.
We'll
it kicks off at 12 o'clock. Gonna bring back footage and everything. It kicks off at 12 o'clock in Harlem.
Right.
I think it's. I'll look it up before the show is over, but I think it's 125th Street and probably
Malcolm X.
It might be Lenox Avenue. It might be Malcolm X. But I'll check
it's right
it
by
out.
the Capitol. Right around there.
Right.
You can find it. You can definitely
find it. And once you get to 125th Street, it'll be good. But Zimbabwe, Cuba, Korea, even China, Venezuela, certainly, Nicaragua, they are all going through the same thing. There's so many countries that are rich in resources, but the people are starving. But that's because the United States is so determined to be the ultimate empire keeper of the entire planet that they control all of these people's economics.
Which is crazy.
They control them through sanctions.
Yeah. Because you look at Zimbabwe, it's full of diamonds.
Zimbabwe is full of everything.
They got
agriculture,
look at Venezuela.
diamonds. Venezuela has everything.
Agriculture, oil.
We did a show when we were absent. I ran a show. It was a thing that was about the shithole nations that was done at, right across the street at John Jay. And Chris Silvera, who is a union organizer, he's like a vice president or something of the Teamsters. He was talking about, because he's, I think, Jamaican, but he was talking about Michael Manley, when Michael Manley was Prime Minister or President, whatever he is, of Jamaica. And the United States wanted him out because he was, quote unquote, socialist.
Which kills me.
Well, I don't see how small countries, if they're really interested in benefiting their people, can be anything else. I don't see how any country cannot be.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
You have to be somewhat socialist, otherwise you're totalitarian.
Because look at America.
You have to have it. You have to have it.
You know what? The government pays for our senators and congressmen's health insurance.
That's right, for life.
For life.
For life.
So
for life.
If that's not socialist, what is?
For life. And you need socialized medicine.
Right. Absolutely.
You need stopgap somewhere
Right.
to protect people when they get old, because it don't make no sense. You work all your life, to get this little junk that you got, your little house, and then you get old. Everybody's going to get old. Everybody's going to get sick. And before you know it, you owe everything. They're taking your house, all because you're going to get sick, and they're waiting for you to die anyway.
Right. So, and that, you guys, you don't see anything wrong with that?
Right.
You know, health care is a right, not a privilege.
Right.
Socialized medicine works for everybody else in the world. It can work for us.
Right. It works in Canada.
It works in Paris. It works in France. Works in Germany.
Right.
And France has the best health care. And look at Canada. Canada also has the great
It
health care.
works in Christianity. I know y'all think y'all Christian.
Right.
You know, but it's amazing how you keep saying you Christian when everybody calls you the devil.
Right. You're going to get Sheila started.
I know.
Sheila's back. All right, Sheila back. Our technical director back there cringing.
I'm going to get a lot of people mad at me. But that's par for the course, too. Jamaica, when they finally forced Michael Manley to step down. When Michael Manley was in there, they had all these sanctions on Jamaica. You couldn't get anything. The supermarkets were bare. They would literally starve the people out.
Venezuela's like that too.
The Venezuela's like that.
What's his name?
Well, Maduro now. But it was Chavez.
Chavez, right. Chavez.
And we're going to talk about Venezuela just for a minute. We've talked about that. But it's the same thing, especially with the president of Zimbabwe coming in to address the UN. But these sanctions that they put on these countries to literally starve the people out and then blame them for their own demise.
Right, that's crazy.
Is crazy. It's inhuman. Because you're not starving out the leaders, you're starving out the people.
Right.
Because
we want to put who we want as president in their country.
Literally, almost the day after Michael Manley left office, the supermarkets were stocked and filled. Literally. And if you look at, not to cut you off, but if you look at Venezuela, Venezuela's people are leaving in droves because they can't get food and they can't get medicine. That's the only reason. But when Hugo Chavez came in there, the literacy rate went through the sky. Went through the sky. The people were doing extremely well.
Food-wise, they're agricultural country.
That is correct.
They're agricultural country.
That is correct.
You
and
know?
they try to convince you that brown-skinned people, their hair's too nappy and they can't count, which is BS. I mean, if what's the cat that came from CNBC, worked for Trump now? Larry Kudlow. If Larry Kudlow can do it, how hard can it be? He's a moron. He's a blithering idiot. So if he can crunch numbers, how hard can it be? Really, look in the mirror and ask yourself, if Donald Trump and Larry Kudlow can
be where they are,
can make money, is it really all of that?
And the funny you say that. You look at the mentality of Donald Trump. Everybody looks up you, the poor people, his constituents, look at it. He's a genius. He's a moron.
He's a moron.
You know what he happened to be? He happened to be part of the Lucky Sperm Club.
You're right.
You
right.
know?
Well, that's when you talk about a cat like Larry Kudlow. Remember, his hero, his all-time hero, is that damn Adam Smith, that damn Scottish bastard, that racist bastard,
nationalist.
Right. Who actually was more white supremacist than anything else. This whole invisible hand stuff is hegemony, more than some sort of financial recipe.
Right. That's right.
But this is who they are. This is how they behave. I really want to get kind of get off of this, but all of this is white supremacist hegemony.
Right.
They know that the best way to control people is to control whether or not they eat.
Right, that's right.
And if you can control whether or not a person can eat, if you
Right.
cut off all avenues of
That's
making a buck and feeding
Right.
their family,
Right.
you have,
You-
like they say, what do you have when you have two green balls in your hand? You have Kerman's undivided attention.
Where do you come up with this? I don't even know where you come up with this, right?
I do news. I do news.
I do too, but I don't know how you come up with this.
But when you control whether or not people can eat, when you control whether or not they can have access to medicine, have access to education, have access to the possibility of a better life, you control their thinking, you control their movement,
They will tell you
control
whatever.
everything.
That's right. That's crazy.
But it's very effective, and
Right.
we have to understand what it is we're dealing with,
Right.
and make adjustments.
And keep your eye. Don't
Yeah,
get distracted.
yeah.
Now let's talk about Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, let's talk about Brett Kavanaugh.
Now, some people are going to think, okay, ladies.
Sound like a quarterback, but
yeah,
he ain't.
he's not. So far from it. What I'm going to say, you know what? I'm all for the Me Too movement. I'm not a Brett Kavanaugh fan, but given the list of what's on the short list, he's probably the closest to that moderate conservative guy.
Kavanaugh?
Believe it or not, look at the list. But wait.
I'm scared of the list.
I was looking at the
Kavanaugh is a moderate, Jesus Christ.
No, that's what's the scary part. Considering what we had to pick from, what was on the short list, he's the least one that can be swayed left or right. Okay, he's not a straight conservative, believe it or not. But with that said, I am all about the Me Too movement. But this lady, the professor, 36 years later.
Yeah, she took a lie detector test, though.
Who can't beat a lie detector test?
Well,
No, I'm not. Okay, before, let me just say this.
I don't know if anybody can beat a lie detector test, but a lie also has to. I don't think anything can come out of these hearings,
Right.
Because a lie detector doesn't necessarily tell you what's accurate.
Right,
It just
says you're not lying. It just says.
it says what you believe.
That's
what
exactly
you
right.
think to be the truth.
Right, and
Not
what you think-
necessarily what actually
That's
happened.
exactly right. What you believe
Right.
in your soul, that's
what you're comfortable with
right.
saying because you believe it.
Now, with that said, now, I don't know. What do you feel? 36 years later, wrong is wrong, but now she wait 36 years.
Well, we'll have to see if more women come out because we still don't know. Even if this happened, we don't know whether this was an anomaly or a pattern.
It's true. That's a very good point. But here it is. Let's just go with it. It's all true. Okay. Let's just go with this is true. My problem is 36 years later. Why? Why wait 36 years? She had nothing, he had nothing on her, he had no effect on her life as far as, he was a judge, he lived in the DC area, she lived in California. So they'd never crossed path anymore. So why wait 36 years?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
The motive.
I have no idea. Apparently, she relayed this instance in 2012 to some sort of therapist.
Right.
But she didn't give names.
Right.
She said that something happened. Now she's giving a name. I don't know why this long. I don't know what transpired. Again, I don't know whether this was an anomaly, an aberration, or a pattern. If it's a pattern, certainly others will come out.
Come forward.
And the evidence will be a lot more clear-cut. This is enough to delay the proceedings.
Okay, now, delay the proceedings.
Yeah.
You can delay the proceedings. This will go on a couple weeks, right? Let's say a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We're right in the middle of the midterm elections.
Yeah.
Was this a ploy? Because if we hold it over to the midterm elections, it's a different House, and they will then the blue wave or whatever, then the House wouldn't be the majority of the House, and the Senate wouldn't be Republican.
See,
so he may not get confirmed.
I really don't care. I think that the Republicans have pulled so many dirty stunts that if something bad happens to them to hold back their insidious plans, it's fair game.
Right,
You know,
right. But the Democrats are no better.
The Democrats are dumber.
Yeah.
The Democrats are less focused. They're more spastic. The lengths that they went to install Hillary Clinton,
of all people.
but it was spastic. It was hubris.
Right.
It was some silly ass cracker stuff.
I don't even know what that is, but go ahead.
It's the ultimate in hubris.
Right.
It's just like the arrogance of white folks. The Me Too movement. First of all, there's a couple of things that the Me Too movement reveals, whether they want to or not.
Right.
They really don't want to.
Right. The Me Too movement is divided, though.
But there's a couple of things they don't want to reveal. They really don't want to reveal because they have been complicit in a lot of it.
Right. That's exactly right.
The stranglehold that white supremacy and the white supremacist white male and that pecking order. When you're in that pecking order and you comply with the pecking order, you are complicit with holding down anything behind your pecking order.
That's exactly right. Good call.
And this is not new. I mean, I was looking at I was watching AMC, and they were talking about Howard Hughes.
Right.
As a Broadway producer. If you was a woman, Howard Hughes wasn't going to give you no role unless you gave him some love.
It's sad, but
and
it's
he
true.
would buy your contract out. I mean, he bought Gene Simmons' contract out, from under her nose, and she was married at the time. He said, if you want to work in this town, if you want to do anything,
you got to do me.
You got to give me some yum. But I mean, this is how they operate.
Right.
Trump was saying when you're a star, you can do anything. I mean, this is what they believe.
Right. He really believes that.
They clearing out CBS and NBC and all of them because
we're talking
that's
about the big
business
boys.
as usual.
Right.
This is how they operate.
Right.
And if they act like that, again, there is a pecking order to white supremacy. Whether you want to admit to it or not, you fall somewhere in the pecking order.
Right. That's right. And while you being held down, you held subsequently the people below you.
That is correct.
Right.
Especially those people who aren't, pretty white women.
Right. But you're right. You're absolutely right. So they have nobody else to blame but themselves.
They have to admit to. They have to come to grips with this white supremacist pecking order.
You think they?
Right now, well, no, I don't think they. I really don't think they are. I think white women see themselves in a position to make a move against white men and gain power for themselves.
Right.
That's different from
the woman
smashing the pecking order itself. That's completely different from leveling the playing field.
Because if you look at it, Nat, the agenda for the white women to be in power and take over the white man or the white supremacy.
Right.
What do you think they're doing?
Right.
What do you think they're doing?
Right.
It's about white women.
Well, that is correct. And I'm coming from a completely different place. I'm coming from a place of providing opportunity to everyone.
Everybody. Right.
I'm coming from a place of leveling the playing field, and that everyone has an opportunity to succeed and fail based upon their own aptitude and hustle.
Right.
Which is completely different.
Right.
Really, I am the capitalist dream.
Right.
You know, because if you look at what capitalism says it is, I am probably more that than anything.
So am I.
But I also understand that capitalism with no socialism is totalitarianism, and I am not prepared to be just like a bastard about this thing and see the whole world die so that I can make a few more bucks.
Right. I'm the same way. I think the same way because I'm like this. When you see capitalism, that's Greg Glassner.
Right.
I'm all about it. I run 8, 9 companies, but at the same time, I have a social conscience.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
So like you say, I'm not about totalitarianism. I'm about you know what?
Correct.
I believe the redistribution of wealth.
Correct.
Because
I do too.
I believe in that.
I do too.
Because you know the thinking.
And certainly the redistribution of opportunity.
Absolutely, because the thinking of not redistributing wealth is it is a white supremacy thing.
Right.
You know, it's all about me and all you guys. That's not a democracy way of thinking.
Right.
You know, I'm it, and you guys bow down to me.
Right.
That's the way That's the way Donald Trump thinks.
That's the way he was raised to think. That's the way all of them think. That's the way they conduct themselves.
Right.
Everyone in this cabinet, from Mnuchin to Kudlow I mean, they are all like white supremacist corporate titans.
Right, but then where does the black man at the HUD come in at? Where does he come in? How does he fit in this game?
We talked about that before. That there is a group of people who rely on assimilation. The first thing you have to do is admit the white man is God. On some level, you have to admit that he's the ultimate overall power. He's the ultimate decision maker. That anything that you come by goes through him. You have to accept that within yourself.
I can't do it.
Even if you say right.
It's not in my DNA.
It's not in mine either. It's not in mine either. But you have to admit that. And then after you admit that, then you comply with whatever it is.
So that's why he's there. That's why he's there.
That's why he's there.
But he is a brain surgeon. He's you know.
You don't have to be. There's a lot of people who comply that aren't stupid at all. As a matter of fact, in order to make the most out of acquiescing to white supremacy, you need to have some skills.
Right.
Otherwise, you could just be like the superintendent that he likes. You know. But you gotta have some skills.
The most powerful black man in America.
Right.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas.
Explain that one now.
Clarence Thomas has incredible skills.
Right. Assimilation.
But assimilation is his. He also, and I like Clarence Thomas because.
I don't.
I know
what you mean.
He's a Twiki rascal. It was masterful the way he assimilated with the white power structure to get the job. But then he played the race card.
Right.
He played the race card, and he played Emmett Till in squashing the Democrats who were coming against him simply by using the words high-tech lynching.
Right.
He got this room of white folks, and he said that the Democrats was trying to lynch a black man, and they were like, "Oh God," and just backed up.
But he played himself. He played the Democrats. He played the people.
But you weren't just any black man. You were
he was the commissioner of the EEOC.
No, what he was. What was the movie with Oprah Winfrey?
Color Purple?
The Color Purple or something like that. You're not just any black man. You're Danny Glover.
Right. But that's what the white people made him feel to believe that. You're just
But you are lynching a black woman,
Right.
and then accusing white people of lynching a black man by accusing the black man of totally.
the black man that got lynched.
So it's interesting. The whole thing was interesting.
But the power structure, it was. You got to admit, it was brilliant.
It was
brilliant.
brilliant. It was brilliant.
But
he exploited a weakness in his adversaries.
he exploited a weakness, and on both, he played both sides and
Against
got
the
there.
middle, right,
against the
right,
middle
right.
and got there.
Right.
But yet,
Right. But now where is he? He's
nowhere.
like ass kissing everybody in the Supreme
what?
Court. He's the
For what, though?
silent soldier.
Right.
He never.
Did he forget?
You never hear him say anything.
no
He's
opinions
like,
whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean he's like the only nigga at a white folks only party.
But he really is.
Yeah.
But part of it says, like, I read something where he was in a debate with the other justices, and he said to the justices, it was a quote, that you guys, you're destroying the country.
They are destroying the country, but they are returning. They are making America great again. They are
America was
living.
never great.
It never was. It never was. But it was. It was a time that a lot of. I mean, it's no coincidence that Lady Antebellum chose that name. A lot of people don't even know what that means.
Right. Explain that to them, Nat.
The antebellum South literally refers to. It literally means before the war.
Right.
And they're
right.
talking about the Civil War.
Right.
So when they say antebellum South, they mean the South where the slaves knew their place.
Right.
Where everybody
knew
had
their
a place and knew
No-
their place
and never stayed-
and played their role.
Stay in your
and
lane.
everything was
Stay in your lane.
right. The orange blossoms was out
Right,
and
right,
everything was
right,
beautiful
right.
and it was like just a beautiful time to be rich and white and powerful in America. I mean, your white wife died, fine. Make 6 kids
Right.
with Betty Hemmings.
Right,
It's
right,
all
right,
good.
right,
It's
right.
all. She's yours. They gave it to you fair. They gave it to you fair and square. You took Sally out the cradle
Right.
and gave her away.
Right, that's true, that's true.
But this is what they are talking about. This is the America great again. Unfortunately, it was hell for black people, but it was also hell for poor white people.
It was worse.
It was worse.
Right, right.
It was worse.
See, because poor white people don't know how to survive.
And poor black people wasn't getting paid nothing and whatnot, but they had a place to stay
And
a place
food to eat.
and food to eat. If they could just keep their mouth shut and stay away from that damn Nat Turner and that Tubman woman, and play their role, they might get a break.
I can't with you, bro. I can't with you. Not today.
But poor white people ain't have no plantation.
No survival skills.
They had no survival skills. They couldn't do nothing. They didn't know nothing and
think
couldn't
about
make
this.
no money.
But think about this, Nat. Look at Donald Trump's constituents now.
It's them. They have.
They have less than nothing.
That's right. They are turning the clock back to an antebellum era.
But they have less than nothing. Global warming is kicking their butts.
See, that's the thing. You cannot turn the clock back because technology has already moved it forward,
right.
and everything has grown exponentially.
Right.
So, their global warming was not even an issue
Back then.
in 1850.
Right. They didn't know what global warming was.
Right. What they have? A couple of steamships.
Right. Coal mines.
Right. They didn't have to worry about like all this toxic
Right.
radiation crap that's coming out of every computer and
not-
every watch you get rid of.
And you weren't having as many hurricanes and floods.
Correct,
you know?
correct,
See,
correct,
people,
correct.
all we're hearing about,
Correct.
see, you guys, we're hearing about the Atlantic,
Correct.
the Hurricane Florence coming out of Atlantic. You guys, there's 2 hurricanes right
Right,
now in the Pacific
right.
coming out of Hawaii, you know, that people are not talking about.
Right.
Our world is being destroyed right before our very eyes.
Right, right.
And if you don't think climate control or climate change is real, then you're an idiot.
Right,
You're
right,
a moron.
right,
We have,
right,
you know, we
right,
got, I mean, so much time we got? 4 minutes?
Yeah.
I want to say this.
3
Guys,
minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to say, guys, thank you for watching Nat and I. We bring it to you every week, uncut and raw. This is not even our opinion.
Yeah.
These are facts.
Yeah.
You know, you make your own opinion. That's what makes 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
You know, don't follow us. You know, we don't want you to be like us. We want
Right.
you to be greater than
Right,
us.
right.
And that's what we're here to help you guys.
Right.
We will do a show on radio starting next week. We'll let you guys know. Until then, I'll let Nat have the last say. But remember, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still among the stars, people.
Yeah. This is we've come to a point in time where wholesale changes are necessary for the survival of the people of the planet, not actually the planet itself, because the planet will wash us out of its hair so fast it'll be so. The planet is just like, you know, like, they're still here. They're still here any day now.
Yeah,
They'll be gone.
we're gonna be gone, right,
You know,
right.
and the planet will fix itself. When we take our plastic and our you know, and our oil that we pour in the
Right.
sea and
Right.
all of this crap away, the planet will get back to being
Right.
the planet, and nature will balance itself off once
Regenerate
again. But if we are going to continue on this road, and technology has literally changed the playing field so quickly that a lot of people are just ill prepared for it.
Right.
We're going to have to change the way we're doing things.
Change our way of thinking?
Yeah, I mean, 1850 was the nice, clean newborn baby.
Right.
But now we're at the baby that got like big old turds in the diaper. You gotta wash that thing. You know, I mean, sooner or later, you just can't let the baby just lay there forever. Oh, it's fine.
But you wanna throw the baby out with the bottom water?
The baby was clean when I put it in. You know.
The baby need a bath.
Yeah,
The baby need a real bath.
Right.
Right.
You know, don't you see the baby sitting up 6 feet higher than it was? All that doo-doo. We have to change the way we do
Right,
things. We
right.
have to change the way we do things.
Right.
And Trump is not helpful. I'll
No.
put it this way.
You know what? I gotta say this, guys. We got a few seconds. Trump will not get indicted on collusion because collusion is not a crime. What he will get indicted on is obstruction.
And soon he'll be back in hell with his daddy and everything will be fine. Peace.
Back
we
to
out.
normal. We out. Good.